ACULCO Radio.
Bueno, y después del avance de noticias, como lo prometido es deuda, tenemos en el estudio a Michael Rucker, director de FANIA Records. We have Michael Rucker with us. It is a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much for being here.
No, thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be here. Very excited.
We've been talking for like half an hour now.
Yeah, so it's been a blast.
So we've been talking about the amazing work that FANIA has been doing for so long.
50 years.
50 years, because it's been quite a run. First of all, have you ever been in London before? I bet you have.
Yes, but it's been years, so it's so nice to be back here and today with this beautiful sun.
When was the last time you were in London?
Probably 15 years ago.
No.
Yeah, so it's changed a little bit.
Oh, I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
More Latinos for sure. That's great.
We were talking about Pete, we were talking about the whole gang of FANIA and all the work that you guys have done throughout the years, which have touched people like me. Of course, we grew up listening to FANIA. I'm pretty sure the audience, at least 50% of the audience grew up listening to FANIA and still are listening to FANIA. The name FANIA is a legend almost everywhere. Here in the UK, actually, when you say salsa, most people actually think FANIA.
Well, fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You say salsa to an English person and they probably go, yeah, FANIA.
Yeah.
That's about it. From salsa classes to the most exclusive parties and music collectors, because there's a lot of music collectors in here,
Right.
and they all have FANIA. Why do you think FANIA was still is so successful?
You know, I think it was a matter of the time that during that era in the 60s and the 70s in New York, I mean, musicians were just being inspired, just not by the communities and the neighborhoods and the sounds that they were hearing, but by each other. I mean, it really, really was a magical time for music, not just for salsa and Latin music, but for rock and roll, for R&B, for doo-wop. It was just a magical time to be in New York City, and we were fortunate to have the top Latino artists who came together, and what they did is they inspired each other, they motivated, they challenged each other. When you hear the story about the FANIA All-Stars, you know, the best of the best, from Celia Cruz to Willie Colon to Hector Lavoe, Ruben Blades, all of these classics that in and of themselves were stars, were the best of the best. And then to bring them together and to create this sound, and they just really, really challenged and inspired us, and that's what we see in FANIA of yesterday, that's what we see in FANIA today, and we hope that that's what we'll see in FANIA tomorrow.
Mixing cultures.
Absolutely.
It's a cocktail. FANIA was the biggest cocktail of all.
It was the biggest cocktail of all. And you know, the Bronx is funny because I was talking to this guy from LA last week, he's African American, and he grew up in the Bronx in this era, and he knows all of this music inside and out. And to hear him talk about what it was like to grow up in the melting pot called the Bronx in the 70s, it was amazing. I wish I could be there. If you haven't seen the movie Our Latin Thing, which is one of our great, great movies, check it out. It'll show you some of the life and times of the Bronx.
Clearly, FANIA had some of the best talent of Latin music ever. I'm pretty sure in that time, approaching an artist was completely different to what it is today. So we hear labels are finding artists nowadays on social media and YouTubers and whatnot.
Right.
How does FANIA approach an artist nowadays?
You know, we do a lot of what you would think of today by obviously using the internet, but more importantly, you know, many artists find us, and we really look for those artists that we feel are going to be a match. You know, FANIA was always at the cutting edge of music. I mean, they broke every rule that there was, whether it be, let's take salsa for example. You know, the purists were guaguancó, son, then there was boogaloo, there were all of these styles of music. They threw it all together, they created salsa, and basically they set the bar for salsa, which still today, I don't think there's many groups that can reach it. So that's what we're looking for. If we see a group that we think are really cutting edge creatively and musically, then they're probably somebody we want to connect with.
What is that special thing that FANIA is looking for? Is that like a magical touch? Is there some magic to it?
You know, I think it's just a deep-seated root in the creativity of music and a sense of pride of what you're putting together. And I do believe it's a little magic, but I also know for sure it's a lot of work.
So I'm guessing for what we can see in music videos and for what we can hear in music as well, FANIA was definitely a family because they brought in everything when they were live.
Yeah.
It's like watching my family actually dancing on Christmas time.
Exactly. You know, if you talk to any of them about it, I was just speaking with this one young man a couple of weeks ago, and you know, just to hear his stories of what it was like in the studio in studio time. Remember, this was the epic that you went into the studio, you spent days, sometimes weeks, and they're all together recording these albums, and the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the coming together, and the creative energy and juice that came from that was amazing. And so it's wonderful to hear those stories. Unfortunately, with the way technology is made it today, you don't get to experience it that much. But when I hear the recording tapes, the original recording tapes, and hear them bantering back and forth, it's amazing.
I was actually thinking when you were talking about this, I was thinking that even today, pretty much all Latinos like myself and people who are learning salsa, we still prefer the old school stuff.
Right.
I mean, FANIA, literally, they set a bar so high that it's very difficult to get past.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody can actually pass this?
I hope so. I mean, and I'm sure all the FANIA artists hope so, because at the end of the day, we just wanted to keep, you know, it's a wonderful style of music, it's a wonderful dance, it's a wonderful life experience that I think helps people find themselves. And that's what we hope will come from, whether it be the next FANIA artist or just the next artist in general, is that they'll be inspired by this music to create something new.
What is FANIA doing at the moment on social media? Are you guys implementing, using the new tools?
Of course. We have almost 1 million followers in,
Oh, yeah.
in Facebook, just on FANIA alone. We use Twitter, we use Instagram, and you know, we have incredible assets. I mean, not just the photographs, the recording tapes, you know, but many of the original lyrics handwritten. I remember when we found El Cantante on the notepad that Ruben Blades had written the lyrics on, and this is part of the uncovering, the unearthing of this amazing catalog and all of these assets. And so we share them immediately in social media. The top place we're on YouTube. We have 2 channels, the FANIA original channel, and we have our Armada FANIA, which is what we're doing today and working with DJs.
That is amazing. You are here to actually get an award. You're being honored by the Lucas Awards.
FANIA is being honored.
You as a family.
I'm just feeling very fortunate that I got the opportunity to come over here and represent FANIA, and it is an honor. You know, I don't take that lightly. I've been working with this brand, this incredible music for over 10 years now, and it's really that an honor.
How are the FANIA family back in the States taking this award? Did you guys talked about it before you came over?
Absolutely, we've been talking about it, we'll continue talking about it. And it's really funny because there was a big event in New York over the weekend that brought together, for the first time in sometimes 40 years, many of the Boogaloo artists. They had Joe Patan, Johnny Colon, Pete Rodriguez, who we were talking about. And so we got to share this with them, and they are just absolutely amazed. You know, many of these guys are now in their 70s, even in their 80s. So for them to see their music being recognized today, I can see it in their eyes. It's a real sense of pride.
You know, it's amazing when you come to a place like London to see people learning to dance salsa.
Yeah.
And the minute they hear something from FANIA, it is like they get, I don't know, it's like the music takes over and they can't help to move. I was talking to a friend of mine who's learning how to dance. She's from Russia, actually. And the minute I played, because I actually said, okay, if you're into salsa, you need to hear this stuff.
Right.
And the minute I played FANIA, she actually bought, I don't know how many records. I don't even know. But she started going, Bing, I'm buying this one, I'm buying this one, I'm buying this one. It's absolutely amazing. I am very, very humble to have you here. Seriously, I don't know if you realize how humble I am.
It's a pleasure.
We were talking about what you guys are doing right now, which is you're trying to do some stuff here in Europe.
Sure.
Hopefully that we can all go to. Can we talk about this? Or is
Absolutely. You know, part of our deal is to how do we continue on from here?
Mhm.
And you know, we have these amazing recording tapes. We have over 4,000 of the original recording tapes. So what we've done is we've started working with DJs, because of course DJs are pretty much rocking the house nowadays. And first of all, our entry into that DJ world has been amazing, because most of them know FANIA.
Mhm.
And when you think about it, we're based in dance. We always have been based in dance. Basically, we almost created the genre, you know what I'm saying? So for us, it was the logical evolution and next step. So we started creating these remixes. This year we're working with over 40 DJs. We're going to create over 150 remixes. And then we create our Malafania, which are these parties that you can come to. Hopefully we'll bring it here to London. Hopefully we'll be in Ibiza this summer. We'll certainly will be in New York and LA, other US cities where you can come and check out this music. You can check us out on online at FANIA.com and on YouTube.
Now, we were talking about something that I'm quite excited about, which is a film. And you throw in the word boogaloo and film, and I just got all, okay.
Well, it's called We Like It Like That, and it's the story of Latin Boogaloo, which is absolutely an amazing story. Matthew Warren, who was the producer and director on this movie, together we worked on it for 5 years. We found Pete Rodriguez, we found artists that we hadn't been able to find or talk to in years, and it just is a magical experience in documentary, because it talks about how they taught them how to sing in the on the stairwells of the projects in the Bronx, and how they broke into to the churches in order to be able to play the pianos, and then they just created this very unique sound that they ultimately owned. And to hear those who experienced it firsthand, those that produced it, and then to see it on film live, we premiered it at South by Southwest this year, and the audience is funny because it's one of the first movies I sat through, applauded the whole way through.
Of course.
So the music, the energy, it's amazing. We're premiering it in New York at Lincoln Center in August, and then I just found out today it's also been invited to Barcelona
Wow.
for their big festival, so we'll be there for sure.
Michael, you have stories and stories and stories. We were talking about Mark Anthony, how he was 8 years old and learning how to sing. Well, learning the magical touch from FANIA, basically.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny Colon tells the story because after he had, which created the big Boogaloo hit, Boogaloo Blues, okay, after he did that, he started an after-school program for kids in the Bronx to teach them music, and one of his students was Mark Anthony. Actually, his youngest student was Mark Anthony, because they weren't supposed to get in until they were 10, and he got in at 8.
Breaking the rules already.
And look at what it created.
Look at what it created. Do you sit around in your house sometimes to wonder and think about all the things that you as a family have achieved? It must be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, just to get together with the artists, to get together with the people that are working on it today. I mean, one of the overriding senses or feelings that you have is this incredible sense of pride, and I think that that's what FANIA was all about. It was about fun and pride and bringing a community together to rock the world. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure having you here. We will see you tonight at the Lucas Awards.
Absolutely.
And I'm very happy that they're giving you an award for this, because somebody had to, basically. Really, come on. FANIA's done plenty.
Thank you.
Just before we go, how can the audience get in touch with FANIA? You mentioned the social media.
Absolutely. We're FANIA Records on Facebook, Twitter, FANIA, at FANIA.com. You can learn about all the artists, see all the albums, the merch, check it all out. We welcome your comments.
And one more question, because there's been a lot of the audience, they're artists coming up. They're growing up here in London, but they come from a Latin background. And when we were told that one of the guys from FANIA was coming over, of course the question was, how can we get in touch with FANIA? At least we want them to hear us.
I'll be there tonight.
You'll be there tonight.
Go on.
You can come. Yeah, you guys can come and see him there.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Thank you very much, Michael, for having me.
Pleasure. Real, thanks for having me.
The freak. Los número uno por la número uno. ACULCO Radio, from London to the world.